followed up now with Kevin Acee of the San Diego Union Tribune. He's talked to Dennis Lin of The Athletic. He's kind of gone down this path a little bit more. So I wanted to hear him verbalize it and talk about it with Mike and Lance. And really just the recap is he's adapting to what baseball is today. His style he describes as demanding, as wanting elite level of preparation, elite level of thinking, winning a championship. He said he got laughed at when his goal coming into the season, both seasons, was to win the division. And this time it got away from him. And it just at this point thought that all of the what he puts into it, the game is changing in front of me. He said, I've been in a clubhouse since I was 8 years old. I used to shine Cal Ripken's shoes back when I was, with the Orioles organization. And he just has gotten worn out by getting himself to a point where the message wasn't getting through. He said, if you want to win a championship, which Peter Seidler, the owner of the team, that was my pledge to him and the organization, you have to be willing to run the race. And he said, able to convey his message and probably not agreeing with the way baseball organizations are going about their business today as a whole, compared to what he's used to, and the fact that he's tired. And I think the health issues have really eaten him up, and he's just tired of being a major league manager.
And it could be another thing too, that and according to multiple different reporters, John Heyman in the New York Post and AC, who you mentioned with the San Diego Tribune, who spoke to multiple people within the Padres organization and some in the Cardinals organization as well. And basically, many of them just said he's too difficult to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
That Schilt is a difficult personality. He does expect a lot, which is okay. And he can be, from all accounts. I mean, I've spoken to him just on the phone doing interviews, and he's perfectly fine that way. I've never met him in person, I don't believe. So I don't know what he's like person to person. A lot of people who have spoken to him one-on-one say he's really nice, great guy. That can be true, but it can also be true that he doesn't treat his staff particularly well, because that's what the reporting from the San Diego Tribune and the New York Post say, that in the Padres situation, that he, Mike Schilt, was relieved to be leaving baseball, that it's a weight off his shoulders, but also a lot of people in the organization are glad he's gone too. So I know that's not exclusive to just him. There are a lot of managers or people in baseball that are big personalities, and maybe they just don't mesh well with whoever's in a given organization. But it kind of sounds like maybe he's a bit difficult, that it is his way or the highway, which is fine, but it's not fine when you're not treating people around you properly. And if that's part of the issue, then maybe it's best for everybody that he steps away.
I think it's well said. I think that is what he's basically saying without saying it, is that his style has worn out its welcome.
Well, I think he clearly knows it. He's aware.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's a thing where somebody came to him and said, hey, dude, you're just way too much. He probably knows he's too much.
Right, but he's controlling, like he goes on the national show today. And by the way, when the news came out on Monday, did I want to reach out to him and put him on the Gashouse Gang? Not really, because it was like an hour old. I thought, let's give him a little breathing room here and let him do his thing in San Diego. So, yes, I agree with you, but I think he goes on the national show today to kind of tamp that down a little bit and control the narrative and say, look, I'm not a bad person. I'm just saying, I admit that I have this demanding personality, and it is, and I've witnessed it, Chris. I mean, does he have a short fuse? Sure.
Has seen him with umpires?
Was he direct with me? Yeah. I mean, I hosted a show with him for how many years on Sundays? Was he direct with me sometimes about how he felt, the direction I was going on something? Yes. Was he like abusive or something towards me. No, he's very direct.
Yeah.
I mean, I covered Bob Knight in Indiana. I mean, I've seen the most demanding coaches and how they operate. Mike Schilt was not that, but he was very straightforward, wore his heart on his sleeve. Like Bernie said yesterday, the guy, I watched the video again today of him trying to fight Dave Roberts. I mean, he was, and he could fly off the handle in the language and all that stuff. But I also saw a very soft side of Mike and Bob Knight for that matter.
Yeah.
But I saw the softer side of Mike where, I loved him like a family member where, yeah, he was direct with me and put me in my place a couple of times. But other times he couldn't have been more warm and welcoming and caring and understood that I cared and was sensitive to the demands of the job. And I think he understood that as well. I mean, when, I was there for him for some family things that happened with him, some loss that he went through with his mom. He was incredibly loving towards me and introducing me to his family at times. I mean, so I got to see the wonderful side of Mike Schilt, and I got to see Mike, who was, I wasn't in the clubhouse when he was one-on-one with players, but I can just imagine what that was like, where he would hold them to the highest of standard, what he thought was the right thing to do. And then, like Bernie said, I believe that too. I've heard all kinds of, speculation about what happened behind the scenes and why he lost the job with the Cardinals, but it's similar. He got up and said, "This is how I want things to be done." They're like, whoa, buddy. Like, you don't run this team.
Right.
And it got the better of him. And I think at this point, Chris, I think he's stepping aside and saying, what am I? I'm a baseball man. I love the game. I love to teach the game. I want to be part of this game for a long, long time. And maybe I go in a different direction.
So, and this is why, and he was, from the accounts that we've been reading today, good with players, very much a player's manager, just kind of let them police themselves, which a lot of managers do that. And a lot of guys like it to be done that way. But I think it's important to just put this stuff out there, because we do get a lot of people who still, Cardinals fans, who still go, the organization made a mistake by letting him go a couple of years ago, and that's why we're in this mess, because they let this guy go, and John Mozeliak didn't know what he was doing. This is a quote from the Tribune article, the San Diego Tribune. It says, the Cardinals have only ever publicly said that Schilt was fired due to philosophical differences. A half dozen sources, including current and former members of the Cardinals organization, and two people who were part of front offices that considered interviewing Schilt in the month after he was fired from St. Louis, said some Cardinals coaches and others threatened to quit if Schilt remained. So that's a huge bit of information there. If you had people who were like, if this dude's here, I'm out, that's a problem and means he has a difficult time managing people. So it's important to note that, because, again, we hear from a lot of Cardinals fans, heard it throughout the season when they weren't playing particularly well, and it was Ollie needs to go, Ollie's screwing this team up. They never should have gotten rid of Mike Schilt. There's always more to a story, and it never really made sense to me that it was just John Mozeliak doesn't like this guy because the guy won't get in line. It could be that he just is a difficult person to work with, and even though his teams have been good, he's had some stacked teams, by the way. This Padres team is really stacked. It's a really good team. I mean, they've been beaten in the postseason, but they were a good team this year. The Cardinals team he inherited had some pretty good players on it too. So it's not just that. I think it's important that fans know there's a lot more to the story, and that it isn't that the Cardinals organization is stupid and let a great baseball guy go because they don't know what they're doing. That's not what that was.
When they fired Mike and they announced it, they did not message it very well. And part of the reason why is John Mozeliak actually said this, so I'm not saying anything that's privileged information or whatever. He said this, that he was protecting some employees within the organization. To your point, he got red flags from many people, and he never revealed who they were. So it could have been all the way at the top. It could have been lower level of staffing, but there were multiple people, it sounded like, that were throwing up some red flags. And at that point, they made the decision that was kind of like the last straw, that it was a personality issue that just wasn't going to jive with the team.
This is a thing that I think, again, when we talk about fans and their perception of a manager, I don't think they put enough into the everything else that's not lineup and pitching change centric, because that's how they judge the manager. But the bulk of the job is literally managing people. And that doesn't mean just players. It means everybody who works for you and everybody you work with. And if you have strained relationships with all the people you work with and who work for you, it creates a bad environment. So it isn't just about the pitching changes. It isn't just about the lineup. It isn't that stuff. There's so much more that goes to it. And some people, even though he is a smart baseball guy, some people just may not be cut out for that specific baseball job. And maybe it's the case that Mike Shildt is not. And that's okay. It's okay that he's not. He'll probably get back into baseball at some point, and it'll be cool if he does, because he is an intelligent, he understands the game very, very well. So maybe he's better suited doing something else in Major League Baseball that isn't necessarily being in the dugout and being the guy down there.
Maybe it's not in Major League Baseball at all.
You're right. It could be something else.
As he just talked about on that show as well. And as we've known, his background before Major League Baseball was in college.
Yeah.
I think that he would make a really good college coach. Mike Farron suggested that to him as well, and he didn't deny that. And I think that at some point, a Division I college coaching job would be a good fit for him. Not that there wouldn't be pressure there, but it wouldn't be some of the pressure that has come from being this major league manager. And by the way, I didn't love either. I mean, I shouldn't say I didn't love. I hated and felt kind of sickened by the suggestion that there were people that were sending him death threats because of gambling. That was also in the Dennis Lynn.
Yeah.
And I think Kevin Acee also had that in his story.
Pretty widespread.
That's yes. Don't like that. So some of those things really did bother him. And at that point he decided to step away from it. I think you're right. I think maybe developing players, being in the game in some fashion, but he did say that when he was kind of working his way up after he joked stellar playing career. He said, when they tell you to drop down a sacrifice bunt, it's, you start to realize that he's not the player. So when he left becoming a player, his dream was to be a college coach. And I think that does actually make sense. So you could see him resurface in that fashion. I hope the best for him. I really do like him. And I hope that he has some beach time. He lives in North Carolina. He's got a beach house there. I hope he can chill out and resurfaces as somewhere in baseball that is fulfilling to him. We're going to take a quick time out. We'll come back. The Gashouse Gang continues. The Cardinals have not one, but 2 Gold Glove finalists. So not all is lost on the 2025 season. They will possibly come away with some hardware. And one of them, I think if he doesn't, it is an absolute travesty.
Should just throw the award away.
Like, how do
just
you
scrap
not,
it? Let's
how do you not give it to Mason Wynn? And we'll back that up with some numbers when we come back. But first, let me give you some numbers. And that is 0% APR for the next 60 months. That is the special in October for Genesis of St. Charles. Genesis of St. Charles. What a tremendous location, first of all, right off I-70, that visibility off of the Mid-Rivers Mall Drive, Veterans Memorial Parkway. But also what they did, Genesis puts a lot of resources into their locations. This is the #1 Genesis dealer in Missouri. It was the first only standalone Genesis dealership in the state of Missouri. And when you drive by it, you'll see it. When you go in, you'll see it. They did not spare any expense. It is an amazing place to buy a car. And Genesis cars are amazing. And so it kind of goes hand in hand. It is Genesis of St. Charles. Visit them online, genesisofstcharles.com. That deal I was talking about expires at the end of October. genesisofstcharles.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
I dared Archwell Health to keep track of my vitals and my grandkids' names.
I dared Archwell Health to simplify my prescriptions, so Max and I have more time to play. Good boy.
And I dared Archwell Health to be closer than my neighborhood coffee shop.
Our members dared us to do more as a primary care provider for adults age 60 and up. So we made it our mission. Visit archwellhealth.com and become a member today. Archwell Health. We dare to care.
Hi, Stacy with Fairwinds Rivers Edge Senior Living in St. Charles. Are you a senior seeking a fun retirement? Do you want less work and more play? Do you want to enjoy great food that you don't have to cook? Then I know. Stop what you're doing right now and call Fairwinds. Set up a time to visit and have a meal. Meet some of our awesome residents. Check us out online at fairwindsriversedge.com. We hope to talk with you soon.
Mama's on the Hill, home of the toasted ravioli. The holidays are quickly approaching. Let Mama's make it easier for you to relax and enjoy with your family, friends, and coworkers. Mama's is available for banquets up to 125 guests. We also offer catering and carryout for any size group. Mama's can provide your favorite pastas, chicken, veal, and steak. And don't forget about Mama's holiday gift certificate special. A $100 gift purchase gets you a complimentary bottle of house wine and an extra $20 gift certificate. To book your reservation, call 314-776-3100 or mamasonthehill.com.
Attention business owners with a net income over $500,000. You need to work with a tax strategist that understands your entrepreneurial mindset. Download the most recent white paper written by E3 Consultants Group titled The Power of a Professional Tax Strategy Team. Go to e3wealth.com/radio to obtain a copy. It's time to learn about wealth and tax strategies that protect your personal and business economy. E3 is ready to help you think differently about your finances. Educate, empower, enlighten. That's the E3 difference.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights, at home or at work. We'll make your happy place your own. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at certapro.com.
The Chris and Amy Show. Weekdays starting at 9 on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
Just to follow up on our Mike Schilt conversation we just had, DLW wanted to know what national show was he on. He was on MLB Network Radio. Power Alley, I believe, is the name of that show that's hosted by Mike Farron, our great friend, who was on last night with Matt Pauley. Mike was, not Mike Schilt, but Mike Farron was.
He's great. I
on
love
Sports
Mike
Open Line. He was on there on Sports Open Line. And Lance Lynn was on the show today. So that was really neat to see that they visited with Mike Schilt. And again, just trying to convey some of the things. And a lot of it is what he said to Kevin Acee in the San Diego Union Tribune, not to mention Dennis Lynn of The Athletic, but just to follow up on Mr. Schilt. Let's talk Gold Glove finalists for a minute, shall we? National League.
Well, hold on. Are we going to, I just want to ask,
Yes.
Are we going to get preemptively pissed? Is that what we're doing? Just in case we get robbed?
No, but there's a name in there that is very popular. Okay. So shortstop, Nick Allen, Atlanta Braves. It's good. Mookie Betts. Los Angeles Dodgers. Mookie can play just about any position, I think. He could probably pitch and be good. Mason Wynn. Cardinals shortstop. Mason had a tremendous year, and I really think that if you're looking at, let me just put it this way. If he doesn't win the Gold Glove, it is an absolute shame. When you look at the numbers out there, Ranj, they show very clearly that he has been one of the excellent players in the game. He has been all season long. I don't want to bore people with stats, but all you have to do is go to any of your favorite websites. MLB.com's got it. Fangraphs. All he's dominating in defensive WAR and all of the defensive numbers. He has had an incredible year, and I believe only made, now my phone of course has died on me, but I believe he only made one error all year. That's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, he's going to win the award. I think the only way it may not happen is if he gets dinged for missing some games with injury, but you can't take that away from him.
No, he was killing it.
Yeah, I don't think you can do that. And I don't think they're going to. I think you still have to recognize what he did this season. So what did he end up playing in terms of the amount of games? It wasn't like he missed that many. Mookie Betts ended up playing 148. And I know that a lot of times that ends up being and we've talked about this a ton over the years, that it ends up being sort of an offensive award that people, when they vote, they see the name, they go, oh, Mookie Betts, I know him. He's a good offensive player. Therefore, he's going to get the award. I don't think that's going to end up happening here. I think he ends up getting the award, and we don't really have to worry much about it. The more interesting one is Victor Scott.
Victor Scott II is a finalist at center field, and his competitors are Jacob Young of the Nationals, really good, and here comes Mr. Popular, Pete Crow Armstrong of the Cubs, who forgot how many outs there were at Busch Stadium, and that's one strike against him. But you're right. I think this could be the year where it gets a little interesting because Vic was really good, and I'm excited to see him as a finalist, and my gut tells me that's where it's going to end for him, that typically they don't just throw you a gold glove your first time around, but sometimes, yes.
You've got to be exceptional. You got to be basically otherworldly that it is hard to notice anybody else. And I don't know that Victor Scott did that. So it's probably going to PCA, I think. I don't know who else they would vote for. It seems the most logical, not because he's definitely the best, but because he's going to have the name recognition, certainly because his first half of the year was so good and he was getting so much attention. Victor Scott never got the kind of national attention that Crow Armstrong did.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
I hope the Mason gets it, and what a great celebration that would be of his greatness and chasing after. He'd have 12 to go to catch Ozzy. But he does have that number 0 because he wanted to be as close to Ozzy as possible. Ozzy's number 1, Mason is 0. I've said this since they brought Mason up. He's the type of player that you want to build around. He's the type of player you want to sell jerseys in the team store. You want kids to be like Mason Wynn. He loves the game. He cares about the game. He's a historian of the game, and he plays the game with great flash, but also his preparation and his dedication to being great is exceptional. He is a winning player. And by the way, his offense is getting better and better as well. Mason Wynn, hope he gets it. Let's hear about FanDuel and what we can expect to see here coming up pretty soon.
Oh, buddy, very soon. In December, the 1st of December, you in Missouri will be able to use FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. That's right. Sports betting is about to be officially legal here in the state of Missouri. And starting in December, you're going to be able to bet on all the great action like football, both professional and college, basketball, hockey. All of it's available in tons of ways that you can get in on the action with FanDuel. You can bet money line, team totals, bet the spread, bet on the futures too. Who might win the championship, might win the division, MVP, all sorts of options for you with FanDuel, including live betting. That means while the game is going on, you can predict who will score the next touchdown and the touchdown after that and the touchdown after that, all with FanDuel. So download the app now. You can start to play around with it. You can't place a bet yet here in Missouri, but you can get it, get familiar with it, learn how to use it. It is super simple, and you'll just want to get a better idea. So go to FanDuel.com/Missouri to download the app now and see for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel, play your game. 21 and over and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I just looked it up. He had 3 errors this season, Mason Wynn, a fielding percentage of .994.
That ain't
Is that
bad.
good?
That ain't bad.
Yeah, that's pretty good. We're understanding we're having some trouble. I wanted to jump in here because we're getting a message that the streaming on Facebook is an issue, and we're getting a message that could be on Facebook's end. So we're sorry that is happening.
Okay. But we're still on Twitter. We're still on YouTube.
We
Gashouse Gang.
We're on KMOX. We're on 104.1 FM and 1120 AM and the Odyssey app, and we'll be right back.
Never predictable, always entertaining. Dave Glover, now celebrating 25 years.
This is Jimmy Griffin from El Monstero and the Incurables. Just dropping in to say hello and congratulations on 25 years of the Dave Glover Show. It's been an honor to be a small part of it along the way. Best to you, Dave, and everybody else there at the show. Cece.
The Dave Glover Show, weekdays at 1 p.m. on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Sponsored by BioBalance Health and BioBalance Skin.
This month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, we are discussing breast cancer with Dr. Debbie Bennett.
It's a great reminder to take care of yourself. I think people are so busy throughout the year taking care of everybody else. Seeing all the pink around in October is a really excellent time to take a step back and make sure that you are here to continue taking care of everybody else for a very long time.
Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.wustl.edu.
This is a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test. This has been a test of the emergency alert system. This was only a test.
Hey Dave, it's Tamara, the flavor temptress, and your good friend from Clementine's Ice Cream. I just wanted to say congratulations on 25 years. Not only are you the sexiest man in daytime radio, but you are probably the only man with the best looking feet. Here's to the next 25. Cheers to you, my friend.
It's the most inspiring night in sports. The Musial Awards at Stiefel Theater. You can be in the audience for this nationally televised event from St. Louis. Named for Stan the Man, the Musial Awards celebrate those who uplift us through their extraordinary sportsmanship. Experience the remarkable moments and people that make this an event like no other. The Musial Awards, presented by Maryville University. Saturday, November 22nd. Tickets at musialawards.com.
When you enter a place of business, you're owed a legal duty that the place of business is safe for you to shop in. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you suffered an injury at a place of business, our duty is to protect you after that harm. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.com.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Weather sponsored by Sachs Financial. We're going to get a high of 86 today. Tomorrow, 83. Friday, 83. Some rain on Saturday will drop the temperature down into the 70s and into the 60s for Sunday. It's 80 degrees right now.
Hey, it's Jeff Sachs at Sachs Financial. Did you know that you have a pension and there are ways to maximize how you take it? That's right. It's called Social Security. Find out more at retiresafestl.com/guide. That's retiresafestl.com/guide.
The countdown to kickoff starts here. Friday's focus on Mizzou, the Chiefs, and the NFL. Only on KMOX.
1-0. Is a fly ball to center. It's hit pretty well. Freelick's back. Freelick's at the track. Freelick settling up at the wall. He jumps up, and he caught it! Oh, he bobbled it, but he ended up catching it. Tagging at third is Hernandez. Here's the throw home, and he is going to be out at the plate. So now the Brewers are going to have another out at third as Contreras is going to run to the bag.
That was an 8-6-2 double play. You just don't see it. In fact, I've watched baseball my whole life and never saw anything.
Never saw it in the postseason. Never
remotely
happened.
Close to that. That was unbelievable. Great call on WTMJ. And joining us right now is One of their post-game hosts, former pitcher Jerry Augustine, joins us on KMOX. It is great to have you. How are you? WTMJ is one of those great radio stations, Jerry, and the Brewers have had a great season. How are you?
Yeah, it's been good, Tom and Chris. Great being with you. Anytime you play with the way this Brewer ball club did all year, they had the Brewer brand, you might say, and go out and play the way they did all year long. And, you take a ball club like this and when you have a good mixture of veteran players and youth, it takes a combination of going out and playing good baseball. And they did that all year long. Defensively, I think they were as good as any team in baseball. Pitching-wise, I think starting and we put them together, they're right there with the best in baseball. And this year they did something a little different. They started the season where they started by manufacturing runs. They weren't hitting a lot of home runs. Then all of a sudden, All-Star break came, and boy, the second half of the season, they were right there swinging the bat, hitting home runs, and not only manufacturing runs, but scoring runs via the home run. And it's played off very well. Just right now, you talk about the series that's going on with the Dodgers. I'll tell you what, Dodgers are pitching really, really well.
Yeah, and I wanted to, before we really dive deep into the baseball here, I'd like to ask you about the Dodgers and why they're so afraid of the Pfister Hotel.
A lot of people are afraid of it. It's really a great place. I mean, I've been under many, many times, and a lot of teams stay there. It's just that, they say it's spooked, and I don't think it's spooked, but everybody has their thinking and the way they want to go about it. But it's a great, great hotel right downtown. There's so many things to do downtown to walk around. So I don't know. It's a preference, I guess.
The Cardinals has spent like 2 weeks there. How long was that? Where they were not 2 weeks, but they were there a long time during COVID.
Carlos Martinez was afraid of it.
I saw that too, and
Yeah.
Marcell Ozuna.
Yeah, that's right.
That doesn't shock me that they came in and we're talking about that. But yeah, the Cardinals spent a lot of time. But isn't that part of the charm, I guess, of the Pfister? Like they wouldn't want it any other way. They're not going to change it. That's part of the deal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of uniqueness. I have never stayed there in the room, but I know in my hometown in Kewanee, which is up north of there, they have a hotel where they say it's very similar. In each room, they have a little tablet or a little piece of paper, and it's a diary of, well, hey, did you see anything? And you got to talk about it. So I'm sure they have that at the Pfister, but honestly, it's a monument here in Milwaukee. It's a great hotel. It's right in the heart of downtown, and it's a really special place.
It was a week. I just looked it up. It was a week that the Cardinals were quarantined at the Pfister.
Oh,
they
no.
couldn't leave their rooms. I mean, it was great. Like
that was a mess.
I remember Wainwright said he propped his mattress up somehow. He was able to get that to where he could throw pitches into it just to keep his arm warm. I mean, they were getting food, slipped to him. It was just crazy. Anyway, this is a season that is going to be over in 2 games if they don't get it going here. I mean, you talked about the pitching. The Dodgers have been so dominant. How do you see, how do the Brewers turn this thing around? I mean, how do they get some offense going against this Dodgers team?
Well, the one thing that the Brewer Club has always been able to do all season long is make great adjustments. And they go out there and they're at times they can be aggressive at the plate. They can be patient at the plate. They score a lot of runs with 2 outs. They put the ball in play. As long as they get on base, they can make havoc on the base. They run the bases very well. It just seems like right now that the Dodger pitchers are making some really good adjustments. And you take the first game with Blake Snell. Blake Snell threw 38 changeups. I don't even remember a pitcher a starter in baseball that went 8 innings in a game of baseball and threw 38 changeups. And he just changed his style around and just made some great adjustments. And he using that changeup effectively. There were guys that at times you throw 3 and 4 changeups at a time. But the biggest thing, locating it. He diagnosed what he wanted to do. He located and was able to get ahead of hitters and really hit ahead of the Brewer hitters off stride. And when that happens, you're going to be successful. And then last night, when you look at the game, and Yokomana he was fantastic. After that first inning, I thought in the end of the first inning, the Brewers looked like they're going to make a good adjustment to him. First time they faced him, they were aggressive. They scored a lot of runs early, but he found that split finger in that second inning, and from there on, he was really good.
Yeah, just to even get to this point, for us watching from the outside, it's pretty remarkable accomplishment considering, where the Brewers were in the middle of the season. And I hate to admit it to you, but I had written them off in the middle of the summer, and a lot of people didn't really think they were much of a threat, and then they ended up being one of the best teams in baseball. How does it get to this point? What does the Brewers organization do that we're consistently not worried about them from the outside, but then they consistently win anyway?
Well, it all starts with pitching, and if you look at the Brewers over the last several years, they've always had some really good pitching, and they build their team that's saying that we got to start with the starters. We got to get guys who can go in and give us 5 to 6 innings and get us to a good bullpen, and then from there you come up with a good bullpen. And I think when you look at this ball club, you'd have to say the excitement and the goodness that they've had over the last several years, 7 years that they've been in the playoffs, has to all start with pitching. And they did that many years ago. They figured that they had the only route that they could get was to really work with their young players, draft well, recruit, go out and sign former players that could come in and help you. And they've done that. And you look at this pitching staff, it's a nice mix of former players that were drafted and brought up through the system with the Brewers, but then also guys that were out with other teams that they've picked up, that they've brought in, and they've made some really good adjustments. It starts with pitching, and then when you start with the pitching, you throw in a good solid defense, you're going to be in a lot of ball games.
Jerry Augustine has spent time as an analyst on the TV and radio side, part of the Milwaukee Brewers Wall of Honor, with us on KMOX. It's great to talk some baseball with you. Pat Murphy, we just had a long discussion about Mike Schilt and what may or may not have been the reasons that he decided to step away from the game. And, there's a former Padres manager. He was an interim manager, Pat Murphy, for a little while. They've gone through a lot of managers. That's a whole other story. But what has made him so effective? What a fascinating story I thought that was. Craig Counsell goes to the Cubs, and the Brewers just plug Pat Murphy right in there, and they run through some success. What makes Pat Murphy so successful?
I think when you look at the history of Pat Murphy, he was at Notre Dame and then went to Arizona State, has a lot of success. He's the youngest coach in NC2A history to get to 500 wins. That's an accomplishment. And not only was he good at Notre Dame, he was really good at Arizona State. And I think he brings that thinking of saying, you have to have faith in your kids. You got to understand that there's going to be ups and downs, but you have to stay positive. Doesn't mean that you allow them to go and just let them play and don't have issues with them and don't have certain things that they have to accomplish. But you go out and you allow them to have success. And I think the biggest thing with Murph, he's been able to coach this ball club with all the differences, styles of players, different personalities. He learns the personalities, but he's able to get them in games in a time where they can have success. When you look at guys like Collins in left field, came in, wasn't even going to make the team in spring training. Boy, at one time during the year, they were thinking he could be a candidate for Rookie of the Year. You look at Durbin at third base. He's just done nothing but been magnificent at fielding at third base, putting the ball in play, being aggressive on the bases. And you take all these young players that they got, you take the Chad Patrick that they got and they brought him on. He's just been fantastic. So they're able to take young players and allow them to develop, but at the same time, allow them to be put in places where they can have success. And once you get that success, now there's no boundaries on how good you can be, and it's really paid off at this ball club.
What is of note with this Brewers team is that they had a manager in Craig Counsell that was essentially stolen away from the Cubs, and I know Brewers fans probably not happy with the way he left, which was kind of suspect. So he goes to the Cubs for a considerable amount of money, yet despite that, the team continues to do well and has objectively done better than the Cubs have done with Counsell there.
Well, I think when you look at what Craig was here, Craig came in at a time with Doug Melvin, and what he was trying to do is trying to build a culture here. At that time, the Brewers were in many playoffs. They're having good seasons. They're playing just right around 500. And the first thing he came in, he said two things. He wanted to build a culture that you have to be a good teammate, believe in your teammate, help your teammate. It's all about coming together as one and forming a team and going out. There's going to be no boundaries on how good you can be. You can be as good as you want to be. And I think Craig started that with Doug Melvin before David Stearns came in. And when Doug Melvin made a few trades and got some good young players in here, Craig started that culture of saying, I'm going to tell all these kids, I want you to be a good teammate. We're going to work on fundamentals. And every year you saw this team on the defensive side get better and better. After every year where they struggle a little bit, he'd come and say, we have to get better defense. We got to be better up the middle. We got to get better in defense part. And along with that, they started developing the pitching. Now it all came to fruition where they started combining the good pitching and the good defense. And then the hitting was just a little bit of a struggle. They hit the ball great at times. They had some really good hitters with Braun and those guys. But yet it was putting it all together. This year, it was a culmination of being able to take everything and put it together and forming what they call a Brewer brand. And that is, they're going to go out, I call them the team of 27. They're going to play 27 hard outs each and every day. They're going to give you their best. And I'm going to tell you what, they're going to go play good, solid baseball, and they're going to make the adjustments. And it's just not your top four guys like you look in their lineup with Cheerio and Terang and Contreras and Yelich. It's all the way down the lineup. It's everybody who puts on that Brewer uniform takes part in that game and takes part in that day and has to be out to form a good, solid team.
Tyler Glasnow starts for the Dodgers in Game 3. The Brewers, at last check, had not named a starter, but you know what? I'll bet you there's not a person that could name the rotation for the Milwaukee Brewers because they really don't have one. They just they go with openers. They bring out relievers. What do you think they're going to do here? Have they said? Have you heard anything, Jerry?
No, I haven't. You got to speculate. You speculate what this club is doing. A lot of times I speculate and I'm wrong. But you look at what this club does, and I think they're in a situation. When you go down and you're going to play the Los Angeles Dodgers, and they're going to face that starting staff, which is good as probably as anybody in baseball. And you're getting Tyler Glasnow. When you look at what they faced early, they faced a Blake Snell, who's traditionally a fastball, breaking ball, a little bit of a change-up pitcher, really changed the way the game was pitched on the first night. Then you take Yamamoto. The first time they faced him, they hit him all over the ballpark. They scored a bunch of runs on him, but he got into the game, got into about the second or third inning. All of a sudden, he started finding his secondary pitches, and he was really good. You take a Tyler Glasnow. He's more of that traditionalist pitcher. He's got a great fastball. He throws the ball in a downward plane. He's got a good slider, but his pitch is the breaking ball. Can he get that breaking ball over the plate? I think the Brewers are going to have to make some adjustments, and that's stay off the high strikes, and then get him in counts where he's got to throw that fastball and stay away from the breaking ball. If they can get him in those counts and really put some pressure on there, I think they have a good chance of beating the Dodgers.
Jerry, before we say goodbye, we should mention that we've got a lot of people here listening to this show that are fans of the Fighting Illini, and they will certainly remember the national championship game that your nephew appeared in. James Augustine is your nephew and also played for the Orlando Magic. So we just wanted to make sure we acknowledge that because we do have quite a few Illini fans. And I'm wondering which of you was the better professional athlete.
Well, James is really good. I remember when he was at Orlando, they came into Milwaukee and they asked me, he calls me and he goes, Uncle Jerry, why don't you come down and watch us work out? So I went down. I went down and he was working out on the floor, and after it was over, they were sitting on the bench and he waves me down. He says, come on and sit down by me. So, James is 6'11". So I went down and he said, sit right here, Uncle Jerry. And I sat down, and right alongside comes Patrick Hughes. And, I'm sitting between two guys, 1'7" and 6'11". I felt kind of small. So I would give the nod as far as athletics. I'd give it to those guys.
Oh, man, what a team that was. That's a shame they couldn't finish it against North Carolina. That was here in St. Louis.
Yeah. Edward Jones Dome.
D and Luther and Darren and, of course, James.
I got to go to a bunch of their games, and I'll tell you what, not only were they a good team, they were such class kids. They were really, really good kids. And I know James had a struggle in that last game. I like to think back that if the referees were a little forgiving on that, they called a lot of fouls on him early in that ball game, I think the ball game would have been different.
I remember it well. Jerry, thank you so much for the time. It's great to chat with you, and good luck. I have to tell you, we're not the only ones. There are a lot of people pulling for the Brewers here, so let's see if you can get a couple back over there.
Yeah, we got to keep it in the NL Central. I tell you, this division is such a good division, and I know the Cardinals had some struggles this year, but you can never count the Cardinals. Hopefully, I don't think they'll ever rebuild. I think they're always going to be there. It's going to be fun to look to 2026. I think we're going to have a good 2026, but the Brewers really had a great 2025 season, and it's fun to watch it. Hopefully they can bounce back.
Best to all of you, and I know that this year you thought a lot about Bob Uecker, and so we'll continue to hope that you can get one for Uke, and we appreciate you very much.
We always talk and think about you. That never will end.
Have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much, Jerry.
Anytime. Great being with you guys.
Great to be with you. Jerry Augustine does radio and TV, WTMJ Radio. Great station up there in Milwaukee. With Chris Ranji, I'm Tom Ackerman, the Gashouse Gang on KMOX. We'll take a quick break, come back, and have some other thoughts. A lot going on, including big hockey game tonight at Enterprise Center. Blues Blackhawks.
Stay up late.
If you can stay up for it. It's unbelievable. I can't believe that they do that. We'll discuss next.
Hey guys, this is Kevin Wheeler, and let me ask you something. What if you could be 20 pounds lighter by Christmas? Well, that's what people are seeing with the $25,000 Operation Transformation Challenge from Supplement Superstores. It's 8 weeks, it's free, and it's happening right now. So don't sit back while everyone else gains weight this holiday season. This is your chance to get ahead. So when you join, you get everything you need to crush it. Custom meal and workout plans made for you. Diet-friendly recipes, including for the holidays. Weekly progress scans and accountability. Access to S2's private Facebook community. Weekly prizes and giveaways. 24/7 support from real trainers and nutrition experts. And here's the best part. The top transformation wins $10,000. And the new partner division where you sign up with a friend takes home $15,000. I already joined to keep myself on track through the holidays, and trust me, you don't want to wait until January to start. Spots are filling fast and signups close soon, so join Operation Transformation today at supplementsuperstores.com or stop by your local S2 before it's too late.
KMOX proudly supports the Mutual Awards, returning to Stiefel Theater Saturday, November 22nd. You can be in the audience for this nationally televised event, hosted right here in St. Louis. Named for Stan the Man, the show celebrates the year's greatest moments of sportsmanship and those who embody class and character. Experience the extraordinary moments and people that make the Mutual Awards an event like no other. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Are you tired of online threats? Then get an antivirus. It's the only online protection you will ever need.
Disclaimer: an antivirus is just half protection online. It will not protect you from snoopers or encrypt your traffic. So get better online protection with NordVPN. NordVPN will encrypt your traffic, protect you from malware and phishing, and stop annoying ads. Save 77% on NordVPN and get 3 extra months.
Thinking about a bath remodel or swapping that old tub for a sleek, easy-to-clean shower? Glover here for Michael's Baths with one question: what is there even to think about? Michael's beats the competition by 30 to 50%, uses top-quality materials, and backs it with over 30 years of experience, and now they'll throw in a free shower door or $500 off. Schedule a free in-home consultation, 636-775-0800, michaelsbaths.com. That's michaelsbaths.com.
I hear from sellers all the time that they fear they have missed out on the selling market. They are so relieved to learn September, October, and November are strong selling months. With low inventory and hopefully lower interest rates, this fall will be a hot one for real estate. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. You may have heard me say, why pay more than 4 for years? Now it's why pay more than 2, saving you even more money. Call me 314-441-4444. And remember, why pay more than 2?
Straight Realty is
is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri, Kansas, and Nevada.
Thank you, Missouri, for making Genesis of St. Charles your #1 and most trusted Genesis dealer for 2025. Thrilling offers for an unforgettable season are now here at Genesis of St. Charles. For a limited time only, get 0% APR for up to 60 months on all new Genesis models. You don't want to miss this one. These offers absolutely end October 31st. Visit genesisofstcharles.com today. Based on GMA sales records for 2024 on approved credit for Genesis Finance. See dealer for details.
Hey guys, Glover here. It's October, and this is when the weather really starts to shift. The mornings are crisp, the evenings are cool. Before long, those chilly fall breezes will turn into full-blown winter winds. Right now, buy 2 windows to get 2 free with no limit, plus enjoy 0% interest for 3 full years. And to top it off, get an extra $500 off your entire home improvement project. That's Universal Windows Direct. Give them a call at 314-334-2522 or visit universalwindowsdirect.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
Now back to the Gashouse Gang, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Welcome back to the show. Just about a minute or so to go. We have 8 hours until face-off for the Blues and the Blackhawks. They say 8:30, but Chris, that actually means like 8:52 because it's on TNT.
Come on, man.
That's late.
Yeah, in my younger days, I'd have said, hey, 8:30 is perfect. I'm a night owl.
Yeah.
But I got to get up early and go to work.
I mean, how many kids will be at that game? None, right? They got school tomorrow. But it'll be a fun atmosphere. People will still go. They're going to pack the place. They're going to drink lots of beer, and they're going to safely make their way home and not drive home after drinking all that beer. But they're going to see the Blues and the Blackhawks tonight at Enterprise Center. And I think the Blues have had an admirable turnaround. I love to hear that they had a great practice yesterday and that Jim Montgomery's got a big smile on his face because they're playing well. They beat Calgary. They beat Vancouver. It's time to beat the Blackhawks. See what happens.
Well, they better. Well, let's do 3 in a row here, right? After that opening night.
Yeah, this is a nice looking team. That their goaltenders will take them where they want to be, but they have a very good mix of young and veteran leadership. And I think that leadership from Jake Neighbors is still very underrated. I really, really like this player. And my gosh, is Jimmy Snuggerud good? Wow.
He's a Calder Trophy winner.
Snuggerud is a scorer. He's going to score a ton of goals. Keep him healthy. The Blues and the Blackhawks tonight. Good luck to St. Louis. Thanks to Jerry Augustine for joining us. Tonight's also Mariners Blue Jays. Seattle's got a chance.
It's been a fun series.
Seattle's never been to the World Series. I'm pulling for them.
I am. I like the Mariners.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Thanks for joining us. The Gashouse Gang on KMOX. Chris is back with Bernie tomorrow.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.